All right, guys. First of all, I just want to welcome the visiting students and the returning alumni. And in addition, we have a few current parents, which is great. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, every single visiting current parent is an educator, I believe. Okay, let's see if that's correct. We have Adin's father, we have Noah's mom, and both of Ezra's parents. Is that correct? Okay, so you guys, education, it's a real career. You could do it. Okay, it's even fun. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, so as many of you know, okay, I am particularly interested sometimes when different values clash, because that's the nature of existence, right? We have various things we value, which sometimes are going to contradict each other, and it's a way of kind of testing your system. How much does it value different factors when you have a clash? So that's going to be today's topic, which is there's a Gemara in Shabbat about Ner Chanukah against other mitzvot. And it's a way of kind of ranking mitzvot. I'll just mention briefly a very interesting Rambam that it's not on the page, but it's worthy of knowing. A Rambam in Pirkei Avot. If I asked you guys, what would be a good way to rank mitzvot? Okay, what might you think might be a way? How could I know whether mitzvah is more important or less significant? Mayor Ross, what do you say? Punishment. Excellent. So Mayor says, let's just look at the punishment. Presumably, our system cares more about death penalty crimes than it cares about things you get a monetary fine for. So that seems like a good barometer, right, in terms of measuring mitzvot. Okay, what's the limitation on Mayor's approach?
It's only for negative.
Ah, very good. Okay, now that white line. Excellent. Guys, if you guys don't know, this is Roi's brother over here. Excellent. Okay. All right, double-jointed Alex Wolf, what do you say? Okay, but that's what, okay. We'll get to that in a second. You're right, we'll get there in a minute. You're totally right, that's going to be a very big player in today's year. Okay, but, so here's what the Rambam says. The Rambam says exactly what Nadav said. The Rambam says we have a measuring stick for lo tases, for prohibitions, but we have no measuring stick for ases. Right, there's no easy way to know. If I ask you what's more important, like lulav or sukkah, right? Arguably there's no easy way to answer that question. Okay, so with that background, let's get to today's clash. What do you want to say? Ah, excellent. Okay, so let's go there for a second. What might you say? Guys, we're keeping our tradition going. We get one English fellow a year, but he's always excellent. That is the tradition. Okay, so what would you guys say? What if there are two different death penalty crimes? Am I stuck, or there might be a way to rank them also? Okay, yeah? Moshe? Yes, what if the Gemara says a ranking of the death penalties? For example, now here it's interesting because there's a lot of debate, but there's two that are clearly more severe than another two. Anyone know offhand? Which of the two considered most severe? Wait, understand, if you knew that already, why'd you ask the question?
No, I was thinking like if two mitzvot both get straight forest.
Ah, okay, fair enough, sorry. I didn't realize the real depth of your question. Okay, so you're right. In that case, we don't necessarily have a measuring set, right? Adin, you want to say something? Yeah. We're going to look at it right now. What happens when two positive mitzvot clash? But I'm just pointing out that, in theory, in Lota says there's an easier method of ranking than there is for Ases. Okay, and now we're going to get to the clash. Okay, here we go. So here's the Gemara in Shabbat. As you guys all know, there is no Masechet Chanukah in Mishnah, and the major Chanukah Sugyot are all in Masechet Shabbat. Amarava, Pshitali, it is obvious to me. Ner Beito v'Ner Chanukah. If I have a clash between, Ner Beito means Shabbos candles. What if I have limited funds? Right, you might say, how could there be a clash? The person, unfortunately, is not so wealthy. They're kind of destitute. So they have enough money to buy candles for one mitzvah. Would they go with Shabbos candles or Hanukkah candles? So who wins? Ner Beito Adif. What's Adif, guys? Preferable. Excellent. Mishum Shalom Beito. Now, this is kind of fascinating because it's actually a third factor about Ner Shabbat. If you ever give a shiur on Ner Shabbat, you could say there's three different things it's fulfilling. This guy's, leave out Shalom Bayit for a second. What values or what mitzvahs might Shabbos candles be fulfilling? Nope. Oneg Shabbat. And another Durabanan, guys, besides Oneg? Kavod, who said that? Excellent. Okay, are you Ezra's brother? Yeah. Okay, way to go. You're a senior now? You're older. In university. Oh, you're the one who, can I say it? Yeah, you dropped out of Princeton to come back to Israel. Oh, you're a serious guy. Okay. Okay. I got it. I don't know. I might have made some mothers unhappy just now. Okay, but in any case, Ms. Schwab, that's okay?
Yes.
Okay. So in any case.
You know how much money we're saving?
There you go. Okay. See, guys, there's always a silver lining. That's it. Okay. If you meet the Schwabs in New Zealand, you now know what paid for it. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So you have okay. So Shabbos candles are both Kavod Shabbos and Oneg Shabbos, right? They honor Shabbos. It's a nicer atmosphere, and you enjoy Shabbos more. That's why. Where's the ideal place to light? Where you're going to eat, right? Because you're supposed to enjoy the meal by the light of the Shabbos candles. Okay, great. But there's a third theme. So when you light Shabbos candles, it is Kavod Shabbos, it is Oneg Shabbos, and it promotes Shalom Bayit. And apparently, so this gets back to what I like in the beginning. Oh, what does Judaism really value? Apparently, Shalom Bayit is the trump card. It beats out Ner Chanukah. Okay, next match. Okay, Ner Beitu v'Kiddush Hayom. What if it's Shabbos candles versus wine for Kiddush? That's also an expense. Ner Beitu adif mishum Shalom Beitu. Basically, Shalom Bayit is just the wrecking ball. It just wins everything. Okay, so now Ner Shabbos has beaten Ner Chanukah and Kiddush wine. Now, you guys heard this joke from me last week, but I'll repeat it again. And now we're in the high school basketball tournament, and now we go to the losers bracket. What happens in the losers bracket? Well, we have to ask what happens if Kiddush wine goes up against Ner Chanukah. Okay, here we go. So Kiddush, Rav asked the question, Ner Chanukah Kiddush Yomah, what should win? Now, this is great because the Gemara gives the card each one would play. What would each one say we have to win? Kiddush Yom Tadir. Alex Wolf, here you are. Okay, what would be the reason to prefer Kiddush? So this is also interesting. Apparently, Judaism likes the constant. There's something about regularity that we really value, right? And therefore, we have this rule that something that's Tadir gets precedence. Okay, which is interesting because you might say a lot of systems would think otherwise, that it's more exciting something that is rare. But here we have a certain value to regularity. Oh, so what is the most frequent thing in this tournament here? Shabbos. Right? Because again, Hanukkah is 8 days a year, and Shabbos is every week. Right? So Shabbos should win from a Tadir perspective. Odilma Ner Chanukah Adif. What does Ner Chanukah have going for it? Mishum Parsume Nisa. We also very much value publicizing stories, publicizing the miracle. So that's the clash. Tadir versus Parsume Nisa. Okay, who wins? Bater Dibai Hadar Pashta, Ner Chanukah Div Mishum Parsume Nisa. Okay, so in theory, guys, we have a ranking system. What's the ranking system of Jewish values here? Shalom Bayit's in first place. Second place is Parsume Nisa, and at the bottom of the division, right, the Chicago White Sox of halachic values, okay, is Tadir. Okay, we're all good so far? Okay, great. Now, let's go back, though, for a second. In theory, what might be another differentiating factor in ranking assays, or ranking mitzvot, I should say, besides all these factors we've had? Okay, what might be the most basic factor? How important a mitzvah is? Roy? Excellent. The first thing you'd think of in life is it the Orayta, is it the Rabbanan, or is it a minhag? Okay, that's what we think, right? That would be the most fundamental ranking system. Okay, and again, I like all these other rankings, but you think that's the most fundamental. So, would that play a role in the little tournament we had in Masechet Shabbat, guys? Should the Orayta, the Rabbanan have reared its head or not?
No. Yes.
Okay, who said yes? All right, let's go back to England. Here we go.
Well, Kiddush is the
Excellent. Wait, how could Kiddush lose? Kiddush is the Orayta, and Ner Shabbat and Ner Chanukah are both Rabbanan. So we never should have gotten here. We never should have let Shalom Bayit overwhelm Kiddush wine. Right? What about, is the most fundamental distinction the Orayta versus the Rabbanan? Okay, excellent. Such a good question that the Ritva asks it. So let's go to source 2. Kiddush, actually, no one look yet. No one look. Okay, can anyone answer the question? Is there a way to kind of, because they seem to be like, they're different playing fields, right? Kiddush is in the Orayta playing field, and Ner Shabbat's in the Rabbanan playing field. Any way to even the playing field? Cuz, what do you say? I just explained it to everybody, okay, guys? For those who are visiting. This fellow is my third cousin, twice removed. It's really true. It never happened in my education career that I had my third cousin twice removed in Shiur before. Okay, Cuz, what do you say? Ah, brilliant. Right, I see the family brains come through. Okay, excellent. Right, it's not Kiddush per se in this Gemara. What is it? It's buying wine. What if wine is not so crucial to the Orayta Kiddush? Wine might be a rabbinic addition. Then I could say, really, what's going on in this clash? It's really the Rabbanan fighting with. Excellent. Who else had a hand up? Who else had a hand up? We're going to say the same answer? Mayor, what were you going to say?
I would say that if you read through the Torah and you conclude that Shalom Bayit isn't of perhaps equal importance to something like Kiddush, then I think a lot's been missing.
I mean, you want to claim that even on a Rabbanan level, it could somehow overcome a Orayta?
Yeah, I mean, like there's certain like meta concepts.
Okay, not a bad theory. Okay, but let's go to the Ritva, guys. Kiddush Yom Adif Tadir, Vim Tomar, V'lei Malei Kiddush Yom Adif D'Orayta. There's the question. V'yesh Lomar, Mishum. Yeah, everyone likes it when the word. See, I should make that every Klali. If I find some source where the word Orayta comes up. Okay, here we go. Mishum D'Orayta, Dailo L'Kadesh Al HaPat. All right, very good. What could you do? Remember, guys, there's a concept of making Kiddush on bread. Anyone here ever in their lives make Kiddush on bread? There you go. When did it happen to you, Nadav?
I'm in college. Sometimes it's just not the right ingredient.
Wait, I'm tempted to say in Binghamton, like, there's no alcohol to be found. You need bread. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Very good, Nadav. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So. Wait, Amitai, you've done it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little bit easier to understand that maybe in Amsterdam there was no like good wine available.
No, it was
On vacation. Where was it?
I don't remember. We went on vacation and we can't find kosher wine, grape juice.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so what's the claim here, guys? You can make Kiddush on bread. Wine is just like a rabbinic value. But can you tell me perhaps even another way to get around the Orayta? Actually, let's just keep reading. The Efshar Gamkein Sheyotze B'Kiddush Shel Tefillah. What else can you say, guys? Maybe you don't need any food item. Maybe all the food items are just rabbinic. The real biblical Kiddush is just the recital, just saying those words. So I say those words, I've done my Orayta. Kabinari is a very interesting analogy, guys. You can try this on your local Talmud Chacham. Kumo sheyotzim b'yom kippurim. That is an interesting throw-in line, guys, right? If I asked you, what's the one holiday we don't say Kiddush on, I think you'd all say, on Yom Kippur, we don't say Kiddush. What emerges if the Ritva is right? Not we should, but we do. When do we say Kiddush on Yom Kippur? When we daven Marv. We daven Marv and say the Shemona Esrei for Yom Kippur. That effectively is the Yom Kippur Kiddush. Okay, so that is quite interesting. But in any case, we've solved the problem, right? Now we're saying that the Orayta Kiddush has long been taken care of. I could have taken care of the Orayta Kiddush in Tefillah, perhaps. Maybe I could have taken care of it with bread. And therefore, the wine would only be of rabbinic significance. Okay, everybody good? Okay, great. Let us move on to, let's go to this, guys. Now, a lot of you heard this from me already, but not everybody, so we're going to do it very quickly. Why does Shabbos candles promote Shalom Bayit? Okay, what is the connection? Okay, or? Oh, that was good. Was that one of the calls? Who came up with that? Choni, I didn't realize you're into puns and plays on words also. You try once in a while, very good. Okay, yeah.
Chanukah candles you can't use as a light source, but back when they didn't have electricity, you needed Shabbos candles to actually see.
Okay, exactly right. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
I had a question about earlier. Is there like a difference in like values between a deraisa mitzvah like Kiddush, where it's like deraisa on how to fulfill a derabanan, versus Chanukah candles, which is just stam derabanan?
That's an excellent question. I'm going to duck it for now. But he's saying, is it just even a derabanan that's a standalone derabanan that's an expansion of a deraita? That's your question, right?
Yeah.
It's an excellent question, and I'm not going to address it right now. Okay, but really excellent. Okay, so Or is right. That's the standard pshat. The standard pshat, because I always think like modernity is really misleading. We forget like how humanity lived for most of human history. Guys, electricity, using electricity is not that old in human history, which means for most of human history, at nighttime, there wasn't much to do because you couldn't see anything. That's why people went to sleep earlier and got up earlier, right? Because you were much more dependent on the sun. And therefore, if you don't have candles lit at night, it's really depressing. Right? Darkness is depressing. I'm sorry? Yeah, you say that's right. You're saying the carrot. You mean the carrot? Yes, the carrot Shabbos is much less enjoyable. That is correct. Okay, But in any case, but if you have candles, you're in a little bit of a better mood, right? I think a lot of us experience this. I mentioned this the other day when we have blackouts. You have a blackout, all of a sudden the family gets cranky, right? You're cranky because you don't have light. That's what happens. And therefore, it's a better atmosphere if there's light. 1 second, okay? Actually, yeah, go ahead.
Can't you also connect that? Can't you connect the candles back to Torah because Torah is considered a light and fire?
Sure, just how would that get you to Shalom Bayit, though?
You always have the flame by the Torah promotes like family.
Interesting. Okay, so you have an interesting idea that every time you see a candle in Judaism, it's a kind of a classic imagery. The candle is a symbol of wisdom, right? And I would say that, I'll do this for 1 second. I probably have done this already this year, but it's okay. Okay, as you guys know, I like when language plays out the same way in different languages. So as I've always pointed out, the association of light and wisdom is probably going to be true in every culture, right? In Amsterdam, right? In your language, would light and wisdom go together? Okay. For example, guys, give me 2 English examples. Yeah, that's what we talk about, the Enlightenment. Okay, or even if I say, oh, that fellow is very bright, right? That's the way it goes, right? Light and wisdom are going to always be associated. Give us a good Dutch word.
Schnitzel.
It's all right. It's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. Okay. Yeah, Rui. Yeah. Yes, and illuminate. Excellent. Okay, so that's going to be pretty natural. Okay, but we're going to leave aside that imagery for now. Okay, so let's go to the Meiri. I remember, guys, this is one of my 2 feminist Meiris. Okay, here we go. Source 5. Mi she'eno ela pruta echad lener v'shtei mitzvot lefanav. I only have 1 coin. I've got 2 mitzvot. Ner Chanukah v'ner Shabbat. Ve'ena pruta kedai elu achat. Man, I can only buy 1 of them. What do? How is it no ner Shabbat mishum shalom beito? So that's just the Gemara, right? The Gemara said ner Shabbat wins because of shalom bayit. Okay. Shelo yu bnei beito yoshvim b'choshech. What's his first approach to shalom bayit? What Or said. What's the issue here? Well, if you sit in the dark, it's going to lead to people grumbling and snapping at each other. So having ner Shabbat promotes shalom bayit. V'yesh mefarshim, but some people think mitzad ishto. This is about your wife. Shah mitzvah misura la. There's a remarkable Meiri that nobody knows, but now 80 more people will know it. Ha mitzvah misura la. What's misura? Is given over to her, is passed on to her. What's the claim, guys? It's hard to deny that in Judaism, men will often do the mitzvot more than women. And Ner Shabbat is obviously a women's mitzvah, right? Even though everybody's chayiv in it, but the minhag is that the woman of the house lights the candles. So what does he claim? Therefore, it's a source of shalom bayit, right? She wants the chance to do her thing. And if you take that away, that harms shalom bayit. So that is quite fascinating. According to Meiri's second shot, it is not about sitting in the dark. It's about a woman's ritual expression. Or,
Is it true that you have to light at least 2 candles for Shabbos?
no, you're yotzi with 1. Our minhag is 2. In fact, Or, I wasn't going to do it, but since you asked it, we're going to go with it right now. Guys, Or is the rising star of Yeshiva now. Here we go. Evan, go to source 4. Source 4 in the Mishnah Berurah. We'll deal with Or's point. Very clever point. Im yeshlo ner echad l'Shabbat v'ner echad l'Chanukah v'yeshlo od ma'at mod. No one look ahead. What do you think, guys? He creates a different scenario. We said if I only have money for 1 candle, what's going to win? Shabbos. What if I have money for 3 candles? So 1 I dedicate to Shabbat, 1 I dedicate to Chanukah. What do you think, guys? Now, it's quite interesting because you might say, no, we already know Shabbos wins because of Shalom Bayit. But no, but I'm fulfilling Shabbat. I have a candle. Can anyone give me a logic which one should win? Who should win? Okay. Eitan GS, what do you say? Excellent. So here, guys, that's why good to be learning, guys. You learn how to analyze things, learn how to think deeply. It could be that when you're going from 0 to 1, Shabbos is more important. But that doesn't prove that you're going from 1 to 2, Shabbos is more important. So let's go to the Mishnah Berurah. What does he say? Nearly, the tov yoter leknot od neirut l'Chanukah. Why? Liot min ha'mahadrin. So this is great. This really gets to R's point. Apparently, guys, when I go in Shabbos from 1 to 2, that's not really such a great gain in the world of halakhic observance. Okay, 2 candles is nicer. And know what the source of the minhag of 2 is? Zachar and Shamar. But that's just a nice minhag, right? 2 is not qualitatively better than 1. But in the world of Chanukah, more is better, because it's an idea of Mahadrin. Okay, so that's very fascinating, guys. When does quantitative difference lead to qualitative performance? The claim is in Ner Shabbat it does not, in Ner Chanukah it does. We've got a lot of questions there. Okay, let's see where to go here. All right, let's go with Avi.
Could you say that since you're not supposed to benefit from the light of the menorah, that you should actually do another Shabbos candle? Because like when you have only 2 candles, if you're adding a third, like that adds a lot more
Okay, so
light to the room. So it might be like the Chanukah candle.
AB asked a great question, which I was gonna get to at the end, but maybe we'll just look at it for 1 second. Okay, can everyone turn the page to source 11? And we'll learn a good Hebrew word. You guys can see that my heading is Yisum Halacha B'Zman Hazeh. Okay, all the Abbas and Imas in the room, you're all ineligible. You can't answer this question. Okay, Orayta students, who knows what the word Yisum means? A hard Hebrew word. Anyone know what the Yisum? It's spelled right here in front of you. Okay, anyone? Liyasem something? It means to apply, application. Okay, what word might it relate to? Like to place something? Okay, so Yisum is to apply. Okay, sneak that into your conversation at the next Vermont get-together, okay? Everyone else will be very impressed. Okay, so Yisum halacha b'zman hazeh, applying the halacha to our day. Now, what changed? We'll get to AB's point in a second, guys. What drastic changes in halachic history happened in Ner Chanukah?
Electricity.
Besides, well, most of us don't like electricity, so what? Oh, you might be right, actually, but I didn't realize what you meant. Okay, besides wax versus oil, what about location? Okay, we used to light outside, and then at some point in Jewish history, the candles moved inside. In fact, one of the classic questions is now that, let's say, the state of Israel, you're not afraid of, the local Cossacks, right? At that point, should we move the Chanukah back outside? Now, you might notice, guys, this year, as you're walking around Yerushalayim, many more people light outside than in America. Okay, because for this reason, but for most part, the candles have been moved inside from the outside. Now, let's see the Aruch HaShulchan, source 11. Yesh mishomer, some say, the bizman hazeh, in our day and age, shemadlik ner Chanukah b'bayit, ein lomer ner Shabbat adif. Now, let's go back to our question. I have only money for 1 candle. What should I do? Say, maybe change bizman hazeh. I should now go with Chanukah. Umutav ladik ner Chanukah. Why? Now, you're all going to ask me a killer question, but don't worry, he thought of it. Umemela shia or bebayit. Okay, what does he want to claim, guys? Why, he wants to say, when I lit outside, Ner Shabbos won. Once I'm moving the candle inside, Ner Chanukah shouldn't. What is his argument? Elliot Rogel.
That there's no problem with Shalom light because there's going to be...
There's going to be light in the house anyway. Exactly, so I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Get the 2-for-1 deal, right? I could simultaneously be mefarsim the nace of Chanukah and enjoy light in the house because the Chanukkahs are in the house. Now, what is the obvious question? You're not allowed to get benefit from the lights. Don't worry, guys. I always say this, guys. I don't think rabbis are infallible, but obvious questions they usually think of. Okay, so the Aruch HaShulchan thought of that. So let's see what he says. V'afsha sur le'achol le'ora, even though you can't eat by it, mikol makom mutav le'achol negdem levatan ner Chanukah l'gamrei, kivin she'i efshar b'inyan acher. What's his first argument? I efshar b'inyan acher? Like, what do you want from me? Like, that's all I have. This is my only choice. Then he says, though, v'yesh mi shecholek b'zeh, u'mikom yesh l'smoch hazeh b'shar ha'chak, shar be'ikar tashmish yesh omrim, demuter b'tashmish mitzvah. What do some people say? What leniency does he want to rely on? Maybe you can use Hanukkah candles for mundane usage. I want to read my, trashy novel by candlelight. Right? Then you can't do that. Okay, see, guys, I couldn't bring myself to say you're going to read your Dostoevsky by candlelight because then I'd feel no, that is a mitzvah. Okay, but if it's tashmish mitzvah, then you can. So what will be the argument? We're going to have a Friday night meal that is mitzvah, and therefore it's okay. So again, Abi, I realize I didn't exactly address your point, but your point makes an impact here. That Aruch HaShulchan wants to claim. So guys, there's 2 additions, and I'll take comments. So we've now seen even though in the Gemara Ner Shabbos wins because of its great wrecking ball of Shalom Bayit, that beats everything. We've seen 2 possible exceptions. If it's the 3rd candle, maybe Chanukah wins, because that's about Mahadrin. Their quality of the numbers matters more. And we've also seen that Aruch HaShulchan suggesting that once we move the candles inside, you'd actually go for Ner Chanukah and fulfill both. Nadav Wegline.
Does the fact that it seems that adding the candles
source seems to be a separate mitzvah. Does that prove like the get between is the entire 8-day thing mitzvah, or is it one additional mitzvah?
Yeah, I'm going to duck that for now. Is that okay? Roya, I think there's a causative relationship that when he's in the base measure with you, he speaks up more. He wants to like, it's great. He's become like, yeah, no, it's terrific. Am I right? Nadav, did you ever speak up 3 times in a Shiur Klali when you were in yeshiva?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So forget it. Okay, yeah, Ariel.
Like weeks where Harova wasn't in the Rova, that's when
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to make a Harova joke, if it was sensitive or not. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, let's just say that in Nadav's case, one of the 4 distractions was sufficient. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Shh.
With Shema, that you can fulfill 2 mitzvahs at once.
We discussed with Shema with Talmud Torah.
Yeah. Could you say the same for one candle fulfilling?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, but I'm going to duck it for now also. Okay, we have more hands over here. Okay, Jeremy Fader.
Was the case of the Mishnah Rule, I think it's the second item,
Excellent. So there's something very interesting here. What seems to be the assumption? Because I think a lot of you are thinking you're all in Beit Hillel mode. And what are you thinking? It only is a qualitative improvement if it's the right night. Right? That's what you're all thinking, right? It's only, you want to ask that? I'm sorry. Okay, it's only a qualitative improvement if it's the correct night. It sounds like the Mishnah Berurah is assuming the more the merrier. Just having more candles already moves you into Mahadran territory. That is quite a fascinating thing, but guys, you're raising great questions since we can't do all of them. But you're right, though. Someone could say, no, what do you mean? We're not into like just having more for the sake of more. It's only if you're conveying what night of Hanukkah it is. And then this would be very limited. He seems to be assuming that more is just better. Okay, Jonah.
How would the Oracle Shulchan sidestep the Meir?
How would the Oracle show? Oh, so he's assuming that it's the Shalom Bayit issue. He's assuming that Shalom Bayit is the first approach. I will just say, Jonah, even though I love the Meiri, most of Judaism has always gone with the darkness approach, not with his approach. You know, I think it's really great. But the Oracle Shulchan might even be aware of it. Oh, let's try this for a second, guys. Can anyone tell me, again, all those parental educators are ineligible once again. Okay, and if you dropped out of Princeton to go to Israel, you're also ineligible. Okay, can anyone tell me why the Aruch HaShulchan might not have known the Meiri Shita? Does anyone know why he might not have known? Yoni Kidorf. Okay, so this is quite fascinating, guys. We didn't have access to the Meiri's manuscripts for centuries. The Meiri was discovered, as it were, in the 1800s. I don't remember exactly when. So it's actually possible that the Aruch HaShulchan, now I'm thinking it's probably wrong now that I said that. Too bad. I'll tell you why I think it's wrong. Because the Aruch HaShulchan is roughly parallel to the Mishnah Berurah, and I recall a case where the Mishnah Berurah does cite the Meiri. But you know what? Actually, I have a great move, but I'm not going to do it right now. One should go to the Bar Ilan program and do a search. Does the word Meiri appear in the Aruch HaShulchan? Wouldn't that be exciting if we found that it didn't? And then it'll turn out that somehow the Mishnah Berurah in Radin, he encountered the Meiri, but poor Aruch HaShulchan in Nevardik did not. But I have to check that out. I have no idea if that's true or not. Okay, yeah, Mayor.
So at least nowadays with like wax candles, in many cases it's not too hard to split them. So to split a candle in 2 wicks.
Fine.
Is that
sure? Well, again, you need them to last the requisite amount of time, though. That meaning it's not an endless argument.
Right.
Okay? Yeah, Elon.
Is the case that we're dealing with only when there's one person in the house, or if there's people in the house and you had 3 candles, would that change?
Oh, that's really interesting. I don't think it would change things, because if you're going to prefer Hanukkah for the 3rd candle, in this case, with one person, all the more so you'd prefer it, right? It's almost like a Kal V'chomer. Okay? Stephanie? Yeah.
The best thing about our texts is that everyone in this room is going to be learning this same text for the next Bezrat Hashem 100 years, and you're going to think of something new each time. And I'm sitting here for the 30th plus year of learning this, and I thought of something I haven't thought of before.
Great.
Which is the whole, I always think this is just sort of a funny, halachic conversation, because what are the chances really that you can't get this much more oil?
Right.
And then, like, it just occurred to me that this is a parallel conversation to the nace of Chanukah.
That's extremely clever.
Right?
Very clever. How do you deal with like reduced opportunities, reduced resources?
Yeah, but our option here is not just light it and everything will be okay.
Right.
Clear that time is over and choose the practical. I think
Okay, excellent. Okay, you should put that in your parish on Masechet Shabbat. Okay, for those of you who don't know, she runs Beit Rabban at a Jewish elementary school on the west side, right? On the west side, right? Okay, if you're curious about innovative education, you can go speak to her. Yes, Adin.
So in that case, we only have one candle, and you live alone, and you know there's no problem with showing light, but you know you're not.
Look, we tend, like most legal systems, we tend to not make exceptions. We just like general rules. So I think we would just say, no, just go with the norm. Okay, guys, let's move on. Amitai Kader. I see you guys are not playing bingo today. Good. Amitai Kader.
Back to the more is better. Isn't the Bishop Roach talking about the Mahalim level and not Mahalim and Mahalim? So he's saying it's not about just lighting for candles better, but another person in the house can now also light.
Well, isn't that Elon Wiener's point? That the advantage of the second light might not be that I'm lighting to, it's that somebody else could light.
Right, but you're talking about the bright number and more is better. But that's only on Mahalim and Mahalim. He was just saying it's Mahalim.
Okay, so you're right, but I don't get into that right now if that's okay. Okay, yes?
Isn't the idea of bringing the lights into the house with the Shabbos candles, doesn't that go against like AOC Mitzvot?
Well, that's what Ariel asked before, right? When are you allowed to do two mitzvot at the same time? Okay, but I'm not going to, well, okay, I just realized the answer, guys. I realized the answer. Okay, it's not, in the Aruch HaShulchan's Psak, are you doing two mitzvot at the same time? What would he say? You're doing just Ner Chanukah. You're not doing Ner Shabbat. But what happens effectively? There's Shalom Bayit because there's light in the house. Right? But I think he would say, it was very clever. Say, thank you for pushing me on this because I didn't realize the answer when he asked the question. That's the answer. You are choosing a mitzvah. I am not saying this is both Ner Chanukah and Ner Shabbat. I am saying it is Ner Chanukah. But guess what? The absence of Ner Shabbat in this case is not going to cause fighting with each other. And therefore, we don't have to worry about the Shalom Bayit factor. Okay, this is great, guys, because now we have not only our moms speaking up, but visiting students are speaking up, and returning alumni. We got everybody involved. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, didn't you raise your hand?
Yeah, I was.
Are you from Frisch?
I'm from Connecticut.
Whoa, where do you go to high school?
Nija.
Okay, great.
I was wondering, are you allowed to have other lights in your house then? Because then it would count as a Ner Shabbat. Like if you have two lights in your house.
Wait, why not? Why would it be a problem to have more light?
That the Ner Chanukah would count as a Ner Shabbat.
No, but I'm arguing now actually that Ner Chanukah doesn't count as the Ner Shabbat. It accomplishes some of what Ner Shabbat was meant to accomplish. But it solves the problem that I'm not doing two mitzvot with one item. Okay? Which part of Connecticut do you live in?
Western.
Okay. Do you have, can I ask you like a personal question in the middle of Shiur Klali? Do you have any like hang-ups about like, oh, I'm just the appendage to New York or New Jersey, or not at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Connecticut's great.
Okay, great. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so let's go now to, let us go to, skip to a source that is going to raise some very important questions. Evan skipped to source 9. Okay, and this will be a different kind of clash that doesn't happen this year, but happened some years. Now, guys, if Hanukkah is 8 days, and it begins on the 25th day of a month, so invariably one day of Hanukkah is going to be Rosh Chodesh, correct? But depending on what day of the week Hanukkah starts, this won't often happen, but sometimes you'll have a day that's both Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, and Hanukkah. Okay, again, so not every year do Rosh Chodesh and Shabbos coincide. Every year Rosh Chodesh and Hanukkah coincide. And so to speak, and so too, Shabbos and Hanukkah coincide. But people love this. What do you have? 3 different themes: Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, and Hanukkah. So what choices do we have to make there? So let's talk, we have all these people involved in laning here, all these Gabayim. Ready, Gabay? Okay, so you have to make a choice about what you're going to read from the Torah and which Haftorah you're going to read. Now, how do we deal, the Kriyat Torah problem is a little bit easier. Because what happens to the Kriyat, what do we tend to do in these cases? That's when we, guys, there's like the classic trivia question of 6th grade. When do we take out 3 Torahs? Right? Because we can read from multiple things. So we'll take out 3 Torahs, we'll read the Parsha, and we'll read a Shabbat, not a Shabbat, we'll read a Rosh Chodesh section, and we'll read a Chanukah section. We're all good so far, guys? But when it comes to the Haftorah, do we do that? No, we pick one. Who's now fighting once again? Well, we tend to, Parsha Shavua tends to be punted, right? So now you have the Rosh Chodesh Haftorah or the Chanukah Haftorah. So before we look at the Tosfot, does anyone have a suggestion which is going to win? Which Haftorah should we do, Rosh Chodesh or Chanukah? Okay, why do you think Chanukah?
It's more rare, it's more fun.
Okay.
It's not that much more rare. One is 12 times a year, the other one's 8.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, no. But, why? Excellent. Okay, so the claim here is that Rosh Chodesh because of Tadir. Anyone could give a counter argument? Counter argument. Who should we go with here? Wait, Micha, you want me to go with Moshe? You because you like him? Why do you pick him? Fine, Moshe, go ahead.
Rosh Chodesh isn't actually more common because we almost never read the specific Haftorah for Shabbos Rosh Chodesh.
Okay, but let's forget commonality for a second. Give me another reason why perhaps you could disagree and think that the Chanukah Haftorah should win. Okay, based on, I'll give you a hint, guys. Rafi Rubek, guys, a little shout out, Rafi Rubek. Rafi Rubek is being drafted on Sunday. Okay, here he is in Shiur Klali 3 days before his draft. Yeah. Rafi, go ahead.
That we have Shabbat Rosh Chodesh, we do end up reading the Rosh Chodesh.
No, but okay, you're right, but forget what he knows. Based on the Gemara we've seen, based on the sources we've seen, someone should have something. Somebody knew Emmy. Why should Chanukah win? Well, guys, where do we hear this before? We've heard about Tadir fighting with Pesumi Nisa. That was the Gemara in Shabbat, when I had limited resources. What won? Pesumi Nisa. So if this is the same kind of clash, Pesumi Nisa should win. Correct? All right, here we go, guys. What? I have the Haftorah of Chanukah versus the Haftorah of Rosh Chodesh. Oh, we're going to get there right now. Very good, Alicia. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm going to Tosfot verse 9. Okay, I'll take all the comments afterward. We can't finish this year until we do this Tosfot. This is a classic Tosfot. Hadar Pashta Ner Chanukah Mishum Pesumi Nisa. V'ner l'Rashba. Here we go. Kishachal Rosh Chodesh Tevet Liot Bis Shabbat. That's a key halachic word, guys. What do I mean when it's chal? When it falls, it takes effect, right? So now we have Chanukah, Shabbos, and Rosh Chodesh. Sheyesh lahaftir b'neirot d'Zechariah. Okay, again, what's the Chanukah Haftorah? It's from Sefer Zechariah and it's about a menorah. Mishum Pesumi Nisa. V'lo b'hashamayim kis'i. What's the Hashamayim kis'i? The Haftorah for Rosh Chodesh. Shehi Haftorah Rosh Chodesh. Haven't got that? So far he has the argument we had. Okay, that we know from the Gemara that Pesumi Nisa seems to be Tadir. Okay, but now he's got more factors. Va'od. Kivin Maftir Korei B'Shel Chanukah. The last person laning is going to lane Chanukah. Apparently, when we take out our 3 Torahs, what's going to be the order of Kriyat Torah? Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, Chanukah. Therefore, Yeshul Haftir Minyan Shekara. What's the claim? Shouldn't the Haftorah follow naturally from the Kriya? If the last Kriya is Chanukah, therefore the Haftorah is Chanukah. Now, everyone should be thinking of a question right now, but let's just get down with the Tosfot said. Tosfot said, which Haftorah wins? Chanukah. Why does Chanukah win? Because according to the Gemara, Pesumi Nisa is a more valuable thing than Tadir, and because that's the last Torah reading, and the Haftorah should emerge naturally from the Torah reading. All right, then I don't do a call on here because Ariel and Nadav have both been dominant, so we're going to go with Elliot. Yeah, Elliot.
I mean, the obvious question is why would you read Chanukah last?
Excellent. Wait, why, when it comes to the sequence of the 3 Torah readings, why is Chanukah last? Right? If we value Pesumi Nisa more than Tadir, the order of Torah reading should have been the Parsha, Chanukah, and Rosh Chodesh. Okay, hang on. We'll take comments in 1 second. Let's read a little bit more. Okay. Don't worry, guys. Tosfot thought of that too. Rosh Chodesh. Why do we do Rosh Chodesh first? Mishum de Kriyat Torah. Okay, guys. Here comes the key. If this was your svara, I apologize for not calling on you. You'll tell me afterward if this was your svara. Kaven dematzi lemevid tarvayu. Since you can do both of them, Tadir Pesumi Nisa of Dina and Tarvayu. You do both of them. V'tadir kodem aval heicha delo efshar lemevet tarvayu. But when you can't do both, Pesumi Nisa adif. This is a great svara. What is Tosfot pointing out here, guys? We shouldn't equate all clashes. There are different kinds of clashes. What's the difference between the 2 clashes that we're talking about here, guys? Okay, yeah, Johnny, you want to say that? Okay, one clash is I have limited resources. I call it an either or clash. I can only do one. I can only do Ner Chanukah, or I can only do Ner Shabbat. Okay, that is one kind of clash. But there's another kind of clash, which is I'm going to do all of it. It's only a question of sequence. Now, I think we could understand that the logic of how I deal with a sequence issue might not be the same as how I deal with an either or. I'll give you a very simple example. It's not really a good analogy, but I like to say it anyway. Like, what if your clash is between salad and steak, right? So if it's an either or clash, you're saying, no, you can only pick one thing. Most of us will probably pick the steak over the salad. But if it's a sequence question, you might say, no, I'd rather have my salad as a build-up to the steak, right? Those are two separate questions, right? Just to show that the either-or plays out differently than sequence. So now this is very fascinating, because what does Tosfot claim? When is Tadir? Tadir's making a little bit of a comeback, guys. Because remember, when we ranked forces, it looked like Tadir was in last place. Remember, I called Tadir the Chicago White Sox of halachic values? Okay, but now Tadir's made a comeback. What's the claim, guys? When does Tadir have more force? When it's sequence questions. In sequence questions, Tadir has more force. In either-or questions, Tadir loses force. So now it works out great, guys. This is a great Tosfot. Therefore, when I'm doing Kriyat Torah, what kind of question is it? The Kriyat Torah? It's a sequence question. All of a sudden, Rosh Chodesh is more valuable than Chanukah. So Chanukah is in the last place. But when I get to the Haftorah, I move from a sequence question to an either-or question. All of a sudden, Tadir loses its force and Parsumi Nisa wins. Okay, any comments or questions on that? Xander.
Isn't Rosh Chodesh and Chanukah both Parsumi Nisa?
What nace is Rosh Chodesh being mefarsim?
Well, we say Hallel, and like, I thought it's like established that Rosh Chodesh is Parsumi Nisa, because like, it's part of like the miracle of creation, we get like a renewal of each.
Okay, Xander, that is a beautiful idea. You could give an inspiring drasha, but I believe it is halachically false. Okay, Rosh Chodesh, what?
Yeah, we got it from Rav Davido's text.
It's still, you know what? It's still halachically false. Okay. Did he say the words Rosh Chodesh and Parsumi Nisa in the same sentence? He did? Okay. I'd love to see sources that indicate that. Okay, I'll go even further, though. You gave me great educational opportunities, Xander. Okay. You know, maybe I shouldn't be so definitive in life. Okay, we'll see. Maybe there is a position like that. But who can tell me why Hallel is a bad proof for Xander? Hallel is not a good proof. Ariel Cohen. No. Why do we do an abridged Hallel in Rosh Chodesh? Because it's not a real Hallel. It is just a minhag. So I would actually reverse your argument. Rosh Chodesh does not naturally create Hallel. Okay, because you're not being mefarsim any nace in the context of Rosh Chodesh. Okay, but you know what? It's probably some chashidus. You know what? I'm going to back off. There must be some chashidus sefer out there somewhere that says Rosh Chodesh is about Parsumi Nisa. Okay, there probably is. Okay, but I would say, let's try this. I'll try this, Xander. I would challenge you to find a halachic source that says that. Okay, even though chassidus certainly has its value. Noam.
Is Parsumi Nisa just come through in every element of Hanukkah? Is it obvious that the Haftorah of Hanukkah is an example of Parsumi Nisa?
Okay, so that's an excellent point. Okay, there is a little bit of assumption here in Tosfot. What's this moral assumption? That as long as I talk about a menorah, that serves as Parsumi Nisa. Because notice, because the text of, I'll tell you one second. Guys, is the text of Zechariah about the Chanukah story? No, right? The Chanukah story is not in Tanakh, right? So, but it does have this image of a menorah. So apparently, Noam, you're right. Apparently, what does Tosfot think? As long as we sneak the word menorah in there, that's Parsumi Nisa. You're right. That is a big assumption. Okay, yeah.
So does he make the distinction between Chovat Hayom and 7 Olim? So you're reading only Chovat Hayom, the first 6 of the parasha, and then you're reading for Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, and then Haftarah is an extra reading, is then part of Hanukkah. So in the Tadir argument, it's a priority, but then it's extra, because it's an 8th Oleh.
Right, so I think you're confirming Tosfot, right? What you say works, right? Am I right?
Because in the Tadir element of sequence, it's about the obligation part is only 7 Olim that day.
Okay.
The 8th Haftarah is now the extra.
You say, is it a factor that the maftir is not really crucial?
Right.
That's an interesting question. I'm not sure what the answer is. Okay, you know why he's able to ask good questions? Because he went to Flatbush while I taught there. Okay, see the impact still lives on some 30 years later. Okay, excellent. Okay, yeah, Nadav.
Is Parsumi Nisa important for spreading the miracle within the Jewish community? Because
or is it universal?
Because if you're just saying the Haftorah, there aren't really probably any non-Jews that are.
Okay, so that is interesting, guys. One might indicate that Persuminisa might have the audience might have changed over time. Precisely what I said before. When you lit outside, arguably the audience was the larger world. When you moved it inside, all of a sudden the audience became arguably just the Jewish people. Even more narrow, maybe the audience is now the family. So I'll tell you one interesting thing, guys. This could impact on another halacha, which might make your life much easier, which is the Gemara talks about lighting while there are still people roaming around outside, right? Tosfos, I believe, argues that's not applicable anymore. Why would it not be applicable anymore? Well, when I was lighting for the outside world, of course, what matters is when there are people roaming around outside. Once I move it inside and I'm arguably lighting mostly for the family and the guests, so at that point, as long as they're awake, I could light. And you may have even learned this halacha. Let's say you guys are out doing something, you come back very late, right? Whether you should light with a bracha or not might depend on, is somebody else in yeshiva still awake who will be the audience for your lighting. So it's true, the audience may have changed. Yes, Harrison.
I don't think this would necessarily hold any significance, but I feel like the idea of the Haftarah and the idea of Chanukah line up really well in the sense that they're both correlated with the restriction of practice, of religious practice.
What do you mean by the restrictions of religious practice?
Like the Chanukah story stems from the fact that there were restrictions placed, and the Haftarah was the Haftarah not.
Wait, do you actually know the content of Zechariah, Sefer Zechariah?
No, not the specific.
Oh, the existence after altogether. Oh, that was exceedingly clever. I understand what Harrison just said. That was extremely clever. He wants to say that you got it right. Okay, that there's a natural connection between the Haftorah, not the specific, the institution of Haftorah, and the Chanukah story, because the Chanukah story is about gzeirot against religious practice, and the claim is that the only reason there's Haftorah is because there's a gzeirah against Torah reading, and the Haftorah was used as a substitute. Okay, Harrison, that was really good. Put it in your safe there, Harrison. Okay, Alicia, I'll get to you 1 second. I just want to finish the Tosfot. Okay, back to Tosfot. Okay, so Tosfot worked out why in the Torah reading it's Rosh Chodesh first, but Haftorah Chanukah wins. But Tosfot has some other factors. So we're up to, where are we? V'od? It's the 5th line of V'od, because it really connects to Noam Walkenfeld's point. V'od de bekriyat HaTorah ein kol kach persumei nisa she'enu maskir ba neirot kmo b'haftorah. Last factor that we could throw in here, guys, which is very interesting, it's really Noam's point, that just because I'm doing a reading for Chanukah doesn't make it persumei nisa. What Torah passage do I read on Chanukah? Anyone know? What Torah passage do we read? Okay, which is the Chanukah Nesiim, right? Okay, so you do have the word Chanukah in there, but what don't you have? Neirot. There's no lighting. So the claim is this might be the Chanukah Torah reading, but it is a dud when it comes to. So no, Torah's on your side, but he still thinks. But Sefer Zechariah, even if it's not the Chanukah story, because there's a menorah, that is persumei nisa. So guys, let me just sum up quickly, and then I'll take comments and maybe wrap it up here. Okay, what do we learn in this Tosfot? This is an excellent Tosfot. Okay, why is it, guys? Give me 2 reasons for both. Okay, why is it that? Oh, and you doing well here? You're good? Did I lose you or you're with me? Okay, it's okay. That's legitimate. Okay, what are 2 reasons that the Chanukah Haftorah beats Rosh Chodesh? Give me 2 reasons, guys, based on Tosfot. Who could do it? 2 reasons why the Chanukah Haftorah wins. Let's go. Let's say. Okay, Elliot. Persumei nisa. What do we say in the Gemara in Shabbat? Persumei nisa beats Tadir, and
then because we just finished.
The last reading is Chanukah, so we go to the Haftorah of Chanukah. Great. Let's skip to the other part of Tosfot. Give me 2 reasons why, when it comes to the 3 Torah readings, give me 2 reasons why Rosh Chodesh precedes Chanukah. 2 reasons for that. Okay. Moshe Amron.
Oh wait, I have a question.
You can't. Ariel, you want to answer the question? And what? I thought persumei nisa beats Tadir. But Tadir is more forceful when it comes to sequence. What was the second reason now that Tosfot said, guys? Okay, yeah, Alex Wolf. That Kriyat Torah for Chanukah is not very good at persumei nisa. Therefore, you can't say the persumei nisa card beats Tadir because it's not. But the Haftorah is persumei nisa, and their persumei nisa wins. Okay, any questions on what we've done so far today? Moshe, back to you. Okay, guys, I know everyone knows this now, but Moshe currently is now the best mustache in yeshiva. Okay, Yitzchak Beck is going to have to work on it. Is Yitzchak Beck in the room? Yitzchak Beck, are you here? Yeah, okay. But he's okay. He's still, he's still the only French guy. He's got other things going for him. Okay, yeah, Moshe. What? Oh, very good. Very good, Roy. Yeah, Moshe, go ahead.
I'm not sure about the specific laning for Shabbos Chanukah, but the Chanukah laning does talk about lighting the menorah. On the 8th day, it goes to the beginning of the Kotai.
Oh, because we start Balotra. Oh, you're right, actually. Ah, except for one thing. That was very clever also. But Rosh Chodesh and Shabbos is probably not the 8th day of Hanukkah. And it can't, well, is that true? Wait, I think it can be. And remember, are there years where Hanukkah has 2 Shabbatot?
Yeah, there are.
There are years. Yes, it must be possible then. It must be possible. Right, if Hanukkah could have 2 Shabbatot, that must mean that Hanukkah could be the 1st day and the 8th day is Shabbat. So you're right.
It can't be Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh Chanukah.
Ah, correct. Sorry. Whoever said that was correct. Okay, Rabbi Schwab, thank you. Okay. Okay, that's true. You know, it's like I said. Okay, that was an excellent answer. Moshe, you got it? Okay, but I'm just going to explain, guys. It's like the classic joke. This is the classic mean joke you play in 6th grade. Okay, you ask your friend, what happens if Rosh Chodesh falls out on Tisha B'Av? Do I fast? Okay, why is that a ridiculous question? Yeah, Tisha B'Av means it's the 9th of the month. Obviously, it cannot be Rosh Chodesh. Right, so if Hanukkah, what? Okay, so if Hanukkah begins on the 25th of Kislev, what could never happen? Rosh Chodesh could never intersect with the 8th day. You'd be too far into Tevet. Very short, thank you. Okay, so it works out great. So Moshe, we don't have to worry about your question. Okay, anybody else? Yeah, Jonah.
I'll just say that we just not use Tanur at all and just use Orayta, not Orayta Rabbanan, but like the increased status by saying that Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh are 1 and 2, being that Shabbos happens most, Rosh Chodesh second most.
No, didn't you just use Tanur?
No, you're down to the level. When you get to Rosh Chodesh and when you get to Chanukah, Chanukah doesn't have any direct correlation to that Torah reading, while Rosh Chodesh does.
Okay, very good. So the truth is, Jonah is raising a very interesting question that I'm just going to leave as food for thought. I've often wondered what kind of status should we grant Rosh Chodesh? You might notice that in our practice, unless you're Rav Noam, we don't take Rosh Chodesh particularly seriously. Is that correct? Okay, anyone here besides Rav Noam take Rosh Chodesh seriously? They don't have a practice that they do just on Rosh Chodesh? I think most of us don't take Rosh Chodesh. Rafi Rubik, you do? Oh, there you go. Rafi Rubik puts on a white shirt for Rosh Chodesh. Okay, but I freely admit, despite my credentials as a rabbi, I do not take Rosh Chodesh seriously. But I think Jonah made a good point. Rosh Chodesh is listed in the Torah, right? When we're talking about like the sacrificial order in Pinchas, and it lists the extra kabbanot for Karban Musaf, Rosh Chodesh is there. So it kind of raises the question, like, how much status should we give to Rosh Chodesh as a holy day? So I think that is a very important question, and Jonah is saying maybe that has to do with how we rank the Kriyat Torah, or how we sequence the Kriyat Torahs also. So you're asking a great question, but some other Shiur Klali. What is the status of Rosh Chodesh? Okay, yeah, Adin.
Maybe it had more status, but we weren't sure about exactly what it would be each month.
Well, why would that give it more status? Because it's more in our consciousness?
I don't know, because that's like a marker of like...
No, you might be right, actually. Okay, it's interesting, guys, how like psychology or sociology might play a role also. Okay, and I think Adin might be onto something here. Okay, as many of you know, in the old days, we didn't have a set calendar, and we would make a decision each month, like, did witnesses see the new moon? So Adin is suggesting, I think he's probably correct, that Rosh Chodesh would be more in the Jewish consciousness, because you're waiting to hear, is it this day or is it that day? Like, it's kind of front and center in the conversation. And then it's very interesting, I never thought about that point before. You're saying once we made a set calendar, you don't have to think about it because it just happens. Yeah, I wouldn't even use the word surprise. There's drama, right? When there's drama, you think about it more. All right, guys, let us think. We'll do a 2-minute summary and we'll go to Mincha. Okay, here we go. You guys made excellent points today. We had 3, I'm not going to repeat them, but we had 3 good chidushim. Okay, from Stephanie Ives, Harrison, and Adin right now. 3 good chidushim. Okay, here we go. In the Gemara, why does Ner Shabbos keep winning? Why does Ner Shabbos keep winning? Because of Shalom Bayit. Apparently that is the biggest value. What is the mainstream position in Shalom Bayit, and what is the Meiri's Chiddush? Mainstream position? That this way you won't fight because it was dark. Meiri? Because it's the woman's mitzvah. Excellent. Why did, someone point out very well, the Aruch HaShulchan was clearly assuming the former. How do you know the Aruch HaShulchan was clearly assuming the former? Because what did the Aruch HaShulchan argue? That today, that the night's inside, what happens? You light Hanukkah candles? You also solve Shalom Bayit problem. Obviously, what's he assuming that Shalom Bayit's all about? Right, the darkness. Excellent. Then we saw two cases where the halacha might shift. Even though we value, actually two cases. Even though we value Shalom Bayit more, what is the Mishnah Berurah's argument about the third candle? Chanukah would win. Why, if we value Shalom Bayit so much? Because the argument is, when it comes to Shabbos, quantity is irrelevant. When it comes to Chanukah, quantity does make it a better mitzvah. And someone raised a great question. I think, who is it? Okay, which was whether that should apply if it's not the right night. Is it just quantity per se, or conveying which night it is? Okay, then we had, and the Aruch HaShulchan says, once you move it inside, that also changes things. Then Chanukah wins. But we pointed out, in response to Ariel's question, that doesn't mean I'm fulfilling both mitzvot. I'm only fulfilling Chanukah, not Ner Shabbat. But what emerges, lo and behold, there won't be any fighting about the darkness. All right, guys, everybody have a wonderful Shabbat.